Hello, friends. I welcome you all to the third episode of Solar Sunday. When we released first and second episode, many of you have suggested or asked that why don't you bring up some English content as well? So this episode of Solar Sunday will be in English. And to have a discussion with us, we have Mr. Kedar Deshmukh. Kedar is a senior research fellow at IIT Bombay, and I welcome you, Kedar. And before you start the actual discussion, I would like you to introduce yourself briefly and then you carry on.
Thank you, Nikhil, for giving me this opportunity. I am Kedar Deshmukh. I completed my graduation in mechanical engineering from BITS Goa. Post that, I worked in automobile manufacturing sector for about 2 years. I worked on shop floor, understanding the uh, manufacturing processes related to component manufacturing. And after leaving my job in manufacturing, I was fascinated by sustainable energy revolution that was happening. So I decided to pursue solar photovoltaics. I completed a course in photovoltaics from Pune University, which helped me in starting my own company with a friend. And initially, we started off by doing installations in solar photovoltaics on smaller scale, and now the company is doing great in terms of large projects as well. Post starting the company, I also enrolled in a masters in Pune University itself, where I met Nikhil. And after completing my masters, I moved on to National Center for Photovoltaics Research and Education at IIT Bombay to do some research work in solar photovoltaics. My area of research is module reliability, and in that we mostly do field and lab testing for modules to see the degradation levels that modules are at when deployed. So yeah, that's about me. Now let us move on to the presentation that we have for today. So what we will cover today is some opportunities in solar photovoltaics. As we know, solar photovoltaics is a big and upcoming field, and there are many opportunities in solar photovoltaics. So we will cover some of the ideas that we have, both in rural as well as urban areas. So the first idea I would like to share with you is floating solar. So floating solar is a interesting new addition to the arsenal of solar industry. In this, we use uh, the water bodies and the surface area of water bodies to install photovoltaic panels. This has several advantages. First we decrease the land use, whereas the land can be used now for other purposes like agriculture or industry or other purposes that it was demarcated for, and that freed up land helps in reducing cost as well. The next is we reduce evaporation from the surface of the water body. So this leads to additional water saving. And the third is we also keep the panels cooler as they are closer to water surface. So this helps in improving the efficiency of generation from the solar panels. So this is a very new and upcoming field, and it is gaining traction in the solar industry. You can think about installing such systems maybe on your village pond or on any water body that is nearby. Currently, the preferred ones are backwaters of dam, but it need not be restricted to that. Moving forward, we will see small installations as well, and this could be very useful for a village level farm pond where the farm was created for water conservation purposes, or there is existing ponds as well. So the next application we can look at is solar pumps. Solar pumps is not a new application by any stretch of imagination. This has existed for a very long time. As you can see, it is a very straightforward installation with some panels and a controller connected to the motor to pump water from underground reservoirs to your farm. In this setup, you are free to work during daytime and not rely on the unreliable grid. for your water and irrigation needs. So it is an excellent uh, alternative for farmers. And because of the same, our government has come up with a scheme called Pradhan Mantri Kusum Yojana for distributing uh, close to 2 lakh water pumps, solar water pumps to farmers. Uh, this scheme subsidizes the installation of your water pumps by up to 85%. All you have to do to avail this is register yourself with the nodal agency in the state with your capacity of motor, and you would be provided with a system of water pumps. The third thing I would like to present is somewhat of a combination of the first two. As you can see here, this is a farm pond, and you can install a floating solar on your farm pond. So this helps in reduction of land area usage from your cultivable land, and secondly, it adds to the water conservation efforts as well by reducing evaporation on your farm pond. So this is an example that I am showing you is from Krishi Vigyan Kendra at Baramati, where they have installed this floating solar on the farm pond that they have. So these are a few interesting applications we can see in rural areas as well, where solar can benefit the user. Next, we will move on to the urban areas where we can see some interesting applications of photovoltaics apart from the traditional systems that we have seen till now. So this is a application called building integrated photovoltaics, in which you can use solar panels to cover the sides of the building apart from just the roof. As you can see in urban areas with large vertical buildings, there is little roof space available compared to the surface area of the building. So the example I'm showing you here is from Mumbai. Vari Energies installed this photovoltaic plant at a data center run by a company called Control S. So there are some details about the photovoltaic installations. First and foremost is they have installed roughly uh, 850 kilowatt of solar photovoltaics across all four faces. As you can see, the northeast side they have installed much less because that side receives the least amount of radiation. But remaining sites they have installed much larger capacity, and they have used 350 watt peak mono crystalline PERC modules, which are high efficiency modules in this case. They have also coupled it with uh, power optimizers. So what are power optimizers? In this case, you can see the trees would be casting shadow on some portion of the solar panels during its operation. So this will lead to mismatch between the generation from panels, and overall it will hamper the production significantly. So to reduce such a impediment to production, you can use power optimizers. So as you can see, there are 2,466 solar modules installed, and they have 1,233 power optimizers. So you can see one power optimizer is placed between two solar modules, and it helps maximize generation from each of the modules. So it is worthwhile in this case, as we will lose significant power if we do not use the power optimizers. And you can see the monthly average generation that you get from this installation is roughly 40 megawatt hours. If you were to install similar capacity of solar photovoltaics in optimal conditions, you would get more than two times of this generation quite easily. But there are still advantages to doing it in this way, as the building can still save 36 lakhs per year by generation from its side. So this is not negligible savings, and this kind of installation makes sense when you have office buildings which are at a higher tariff slab compared to residential buildings. So it is definitely worthwhile exploring this type of application for glass facade buildings of offices, etc. in the city. So it was great to see an application for office buildings, but what about high-rise residential buildings? We do not have enough roof area to cater to every household's solar needs. So there are innovative ways that can come up, and this is one I am showing. It's called balcony integrated photovoltaic, the other BIPV, as I say. And in this, you can see that you have solar modules that are placed in the railings of balcony instead of having a clear glass. So these typical type of modules are called glass modules. So they have glass on both the sides and you have solar cells in between. So these modules can be integrated in your balcony during the construction phase itself. We'll see some more examples. So as you can see, here is a veranda that they have used solar modules with. Here are some other multi-level balconies with solar modules. So it is only the imagination of the designer and architect that limits the application of solar photovoltaic. And as you can see, these glass modules are also aesthetically pleasing. So they do not ruin overall look and feel of the building. The example I'll show you next is from Helsinki, Finland, and this is a building they are using solar photovoltaics as balcony instead of balcony rails, as you can see, and they have predicted that they can generate close to one fourth of the requirement of each household through the balcony. Now, Helsinki, Finland is very close to the Arctic Circle, so they receive quite a low radiation. If we think about a similar system in our climate, we receive very high radiation, and I'm quite confident in saying that we can even generate up to 50% of our requirement for electricity from such an installation if we do it uh, in our climatic conditions. So that is what I think I wanted to cover a couple of opportunities in rural areas as well as urban areas. And maybe we will cover some other opportunities in upcoming Solar Sunday videos. So thank you all for listening, and I leave you with this solar diya that you can see, which can be kept outside during the day for charging, and in the evening it will just light up on its own. So have a great festive season.
So thank you so much, Kedar, for this very, very informative session. And I really thank you for saying yes on and coming here on a very short notice. As I already told you, most of the episodes of Solar Sunday will be in Marathi, but we will try to come up with some English episodes as well. So thank you so much, guys, for watching this. Stay tuned.